used car prices.
You kept
Oh, didn't it? Hey everybody, welcome. This is our second episode of the 2025 version of Coach's Night Out. Of course, we're live from Town Square Social, 145 Public Square, Wilson County's only rooftop bar. Come by, join us. We've got some room here on the second floor. Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, makes this program possible. Shop Springs Creamery, the Salas Realty Group, THW Insurance Services, LLC, Cumberland University Athletics, and DT McCall's, Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Franklin, and Cookeville. Let's run down the schedule for this week. Of course, you're watching this program on Facebook Live on Blue Devil Broadcasting, and from that point on, we will share this at several other platforms on Facebook, social media. Thursday, the season starts early, August 21. Beach plays at Green Hill. That's the MyTV 30 special to start the season. Friday, August 22nd, Smith County at Watertown, Trousdale County at Friendship Christian, and a 7:30 kick, Antioch at Mount Juliet, Cane Ridge at Wilson Central, Lebanon at Nolensville, Mount Juliet Christian Academy at Joe Burns. On Saturday, August the 30th, Cumberland will open their season 12 noon kickoff at Tennessee Tech. That kind of gets you caught up on what's going on around Wilson County. Chuck Gentry, head coach of the Lebanon Blue Devils, with me here to open the show as always. Chuck, you've been a little under the weather. How you feeling, pal?
Better than I look. I feel a little drained after a long hot practice, but I feel much better than I look and I sound, and hopefully by Friday I'll be back okay. But
you lost your voice earlier this week, didn't you?
Last week was a long week. The weekend was a long weekend, and then Monday night and Tuesday was pretty rough on my voice. So just trying to stay above water, I guess.
Before we get into varsity action, your freshmen have had a couple of games?
Well, one game that was on the schedule. So they went with us, and they have scrimmaged Centennial. They've scrimmaged James Lawson.
Okay.
They went Friday night with Independence also. And then Monday we went to Bournesville and played Bournesville's JV that consisted of one senior, several juniors, sophomores, their sophomore and freshman class that's not starting. And now we get into this is a real game,
okay.
No coaches on the field, all that stuff. So Bournesville was a game, but it wasn't a game. It was a play under their coaches were on the field, no special teams, running clock, a lot of the stuff. But just a chance to get them out on the grass and going. And so we go next Monday night to Cookeville and play JV 6 to 7, and freshman 7 on, and then that's the real deal.
You got 55 or so in that ninth grade group, Chuck. Is it tough to get them all in the game?
57 on the roster. Tough to get them all in the game. Tough to get them all evaluated and coached in the time that we have and all that. And I've told the players, just stick with us. We will find the right pieces, the right combinations, the right things to go. Pretty good bunch, fun group to coach. They're showing up, they're working. Knock on wood, not any behavior problems and stuff in the school building and stuff so far. So we really like this bunch, and hopefully it gives us something to grow with and build on.
That's your in-house feeder program. The guys you have control of, the guys you can actually touch. That bodes well for the future with 57 in that group.
57, and like I say, we want to keep all of them. There's multiple numbers that can play and different positions and different things, and it takes us a while, just to get them all out there, get them acclimated, get pads on, go with other people, and you're running them in and out like a Chinese fire drill, and then you've had people that are banged up and injured and stuff, and so it's been hard to see what do we look like, and I still don't think we've all really been together yet, and so hopefully we're getting there, and we'll keep getting better as we go. You know, freshman football is something that, like you say, it's a feeder program. It's a building block, and a lot of people only worry about the wins and losses, but they matter, but they don't matter as much as we're getting better and we're building for the future.
And keeping those kids hitched, that's the big part. If you've got 57, if you lose 10 over the course of 2 or 3 years, that's a great percentage, and that bodes well for that class.
Yes, and so many of them get it's a good thing and a bad thing that they come from 3 feeder programs, maybe 4. You know, I think we've got actually 5 schools that all of them are from right now. But you know, they all played, they all started. So this may be the first time that the competition is there, and it's a daily grind. If I have to show up and I have to be at practice and I have to produce and I have to do those things, and it's been a learning curve for some of them. But we're you know, it's an enjoyable bunch, and we hope that we keep getting better.
You play some of those guys both ways. Or do you try to platoon some of them?
Well, we try to play as many as we can, but we're trying to find out what each person, what they're best at. You know, are they a runner and a hitter? Are they a blocker? Are they a catcher? Are they a defender? Are they, just different things? And sometimes you can't find that out until game type situations.
You're in game week mode. Nolensville is the opposition. First time Lebanon's played Nolensville. You go on the road to Williamson County to play Nolensville. They've got a new coach. Do you know anything about this team?
For the past several years, Paul Derrick has been the coach. Familiar with him. He was an Austin Peay guy, and he was a field and boundary 50 and a very well-respected coach. They've had some deep playoff runs and had some battles with Page here lately, and Page has kind of been knocking at the door in 5A for a long time, and Nolensville's been their rival. So they've played some good brand of football. Paul and both of his coordinators left. The new coach, Coach Stidham, who had a really, really good run at Gibson County, South Gibson, I believe, is South Gibson, and came to Independence, left Independence and came to Nolensville, and so he's an old triple option guy, but he promised me at the Tennessee Titans Fair that we would see no triple option except modern day spread football triple option, and I'm praying that they don't come out in the double slot and start
running Air Force at you.
Inside veer and midline and all that stuff at us. That would be a long night, but we've traded films. He's an old school guy, and he said, "Coach, you tell me what you want, and we'll get it." And I said, "Coach, you tell me what you want. I'm easy to work with." And he said, "Let's do our first 2 scrimmages. Be done. Let's don't swap jamborees because we're not going to do much in the jamboree." And so we swapped. We swapped last Saturday. Everything's been good, and I'm looking forward to going over there and just new bus ride to a new place, and they got a nice facility. Nice, Williamson County has a lot of student body excitement, and they pack the stands, and so we're looking forward to going over there and playing ball on Friday.
Artificial surface in
Yes, sir.
Nolensville. I think most of those Williams schools have got it. All of that turf.
And it's a nice place to play.
It's time to start playing. You've had the practice, you've had the off season. Is this football team ready to go?
I think they are chomping at the bit to be out there and be live. Friday night, quarterback's dead. I told him, do not hit the quarterback. It takes about 3 plays, and that joker takes off running, and Jawan Stafford's looking at me like,
what am I supposed to do?
And I told him, do not hit the quarterback.
Because if you hit their quarterback, they're going to hit your quarterback.
And again, to be fair, I'm trying to make sure ours is not running forward. I told the referees, if they get close enough to even smelling, just blow it down. And but that's been a struggle. So I think they're ready to, hey, let's go play football. There are no restrictions, and go and let it be live, and let's go play, spot the ball, and see what happens. And it's been a long off season. First week in November didn't end well. So last season didn't end well. And we got some young men that have worked very hard and been very best foot forward to let's get this thing going in the direction that we want it to go from the get-go. And these are their words, not mine. Let's line up and believe in what we're doing. Let's line up and be disciplined while we're doing it. And let's line up and be relentless between the whistles. And then also off the field, let's line up and have faith in the things that we're supposed to have faith in. Let's line up and be disciplined and do the things that we're supposed to do in and out of school, in and out of the community. And then also, let's be better each morning when we wake up than we were the day before. And so, with that mindset, and the mindset of no excuses, let's get it done. You know, it's been fun, but it's been a long time coming, and Friday night kind of can't get here fast enough.
This group of kids you have wearing those white headgear, they have come a long way. They have turned into and I'm not out there with you every day, but from what you guys have told me, they seem to be a good bunch to coach, a good group of kids to be around.
Well, I have rained on them too much. It's been like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde this week. We'll be inside in the indoor for an hour, and it's great. We go outside for an hour, and it's like a different crew. And last Wednesday was a great practice. Last Thursday was a terrible practice. Last Friday, first quarter was good. Second quarter bad. We go Monday. Didn't do it too much on Monday. Go on Tuesday. Tuesday was not good. End of Monday was not good. End of Tuesday was not good. Today was a little better, and so hopefully we can get the ebbs and flows out of there and be more streamlined and stacking plays on top of each other, stacking days on top of each other. And as I told them, stacking plays, stacking state series, stacking quarters, and stacking games, showing that we are working and getting better.
You've got Thursday, of course we put this show on Wednesday. Thursday is a walkthrough, a special teams kind of day. You want to make sure you got the right personnel in there. You can get a lot out of that time. High tempo, let's get out there, let's get some work done.
Yeah, we've got a script that we go by, so we spot it and kick off on every Thursday. We got a kickoff team come out and do some scout defense against the scout offense, and then we'll punt and go punt return, and we'll get the offense on. We'll drive it down the score against the scout defense. We'll kick the extra point, come back, kick off again. You know, defense, get a turnover, all the things, and it's scripted out to where we get 3 plays, 4 plays, whatever, and we're changing personnel, we're down in distance, we're changing hashes, and we're getting all the different things that we need to see, and it's scripted. All the coaches know it, we're yelling, getting it done, and the kids have to pay attention and know what's going on, because it's not like it's the exact same thing every time. And so try to keep like you said, the pace up, the tempo up, the interest and focus on what it needs to be. You know, keeping the main things, and going and being crisp and clean and getting out of there, and then getting on for Friday nights.
You have a time with the team after you have that Thursday walkthrough. Darren Reynolds leads a study. There's a meal. I know that there've been, by the time you get to Friday, football players will have been fed 3 times during the week. You can't do it without some help from the community. But again, those Thursdays, that bunch is, the hope is they're ready to go. They have that meal, they sit down with each other, they have a little fun, and boom, get ready to play on Friday.
You know, Adam Dillon fed the freshmen when the freshmen were done and gone, and the varsity's coming off the field. There's chicken left over, there's Gatorades left over, and it's like a bunch of ants. Here we go, and there's nothing left. Matter of fact, I was so sick. My sister made me a birthday cake, and I ate one piece. My wife ate one piece, and we brought it to the team, and they ate it. And last night we were getting ready to go, and Bobby Biddle said, "Coach, I get that last piece of cake," and so he got a block, and Max Scruggs come in and took the whole box with him and finished it off. But we love the fact that they get to eat, they get to sit down and fellowship. The past couple of years when we've talked to our kids, some of the best times and moments they've had is sitting together, sitting with each other, fellowshipping. Maybe a coach sits down with them. Maybe a coach goes by and tells a quick joke. Maybe they tell a quick joke to a coach. It just depends on the day and the time. Sometimes they're, talking about what's happened. Sometimes they're talking about school. But it's a fun time. It's something they remember, something they cherish, where it's not always about football. It is about football, but it's not always X's and O's. And, it's about building the relationships and trying to help steer young boys into the pathway to be young men.
Game time on Friday, 7 o'clock at Nolensville. Folks, you can Google Nolensville High School to find out the best way to get there. What time are you guys going to leave?
As quick as possible, probably 4:30, 4:45, and we'll get on, jump on 840 and go down there and take a ride. I don't remember. They
It's
show
on 65 and go back up.
No, I think it's on that off of 840 and
Okay.
take a ride. Jeff and Zach showed me Friday night, but I was sick and I was just worried about making it through to Independence. But it's not a bad drive. Like I say, good place to play. Williamson County, plenty of places to eat and go. You can avoid the fair traffic if you go that way. So sounds like a fun Friday night to me, and we'll get to kick it off and see where we land after week 1.
Understand you had a good crowd at Independence for the scrimmage.
We had a great crowd at Independence last Friday night, and went out and performed well in the first quarter, subbed a little bit in the second quarter, and our twos didn't fare as well against their ones. But we got a little JV action, a little freshman action. Had a huge crowd at Warrenton for the freshman game.
Good.
Justin Angel, former offensive line coach, one of us, and he looked over and he said, "We don't have this many on many Friday nights." And so there was a big crowd, and we do appreciate the support. It doesn't go unnoticed. Our young men thrive off of people pat them on the back and tell them good job, and knowing that people care about Lebanon football, and I tell them all the time, you don't know how many people care about what you're doing and pouring into what you're doing, as long as you're doing things the right way and acting the right way.
Jeff Gannon, Adam Dillon, Taylor Vanderver, Taylor Ship, Justin Forrest, some of those guys from the class of 2003 provided meals this week for Lebanon High football. Shop Springs Creamery, 2816 Sparta Pike, the official chocolate milk from Lebanon High football. And I saw that cooler. Looks like they beat on it pretty good. There was a little bit left the other day when I dropped by, but not much.
Right now, it's empty. There's no chocolate milk. There's no Gatorade, and they have even raided. We had a little Shop Springs ice cream one day, and a couple of us coaches hid a little in the freezer, and they were looking for an ice cup the other day, and found that, and that's gone. So, Shop Springs has been good to us. They love the chocolate milk. There's a few kids of coaches that want Daddy to bring that chocolate milk home too. So there's a lot of good that goes from Shop Springs, and our kids love it. And when that cooler's empty, that very first thing is because we'll get more.
Well, this is a official Shop Springs ice cream cup. There's not been any in it. I did have some, but I went down there and they gave me a cup we put on display. Those folks have really been great.
They got about 14 flavors, and about 13 of them are my favorite.
Chuck, thanks for the visit. Get to feeling better. Have a good game Friday. We'll see you in Nolensville.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tom.
Chuck Gentry, head coach of the Blue Devils, with me on the first segment of our show. Stay tuned. After these words, we'll have Tim Mathis, head coach of Cumberland, with us. Well, it's Tommy Bryan with you on our second segment of Coach's Night Out. The home of Coach's Night Out, Town Square Social, the only rooftop bar in Wilson County, 145 Public Square. Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Donnie Self and Rob Painter make this show possible, along with Shop Springs Creamery, the Salas Realty Group, THW Insurance Services, LLC, Cumberland University Athletics, D.T. McCall and Sons, Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Franklin, and Cookville, home of free delivery anywhere between 125 miles of their Carthage store. Here's the high school schedule. Thursday, August 21, Beach at Green Hill on a MyTV 30 game. That'll kick about 7 or 8 minutes after 7 o'clock at Green Hill. Friday the 22nd, Smith County at Watertown. Trousdale County at Friendship. That's a 7:30 kick at Burl Field. Antioch goes to Mount Juliet. Cane Ridge at Wilson Central. Lebanon at Nolensville, and Mount Juliet Christian at Joe Burns. Saturday, August 30, Cumberland at Tennessee Tech for a 12 noon kickoff. Tim Mathis, head coach at Cumberland, with me. Saturday, the 23rd, will be kind of a controlled scrimmage at Noakes Lassiter Field. I got to see the tail end of last Saturday's scrimmage, and it looked like the defense was playing really good football.
They were getting after it. It's usually a lot of times the case in fall camp. The defense is usually ahead of the offense. If you keep it simple enough, they're flying around already, and Coach Miller's doing a good job of that. And so really pleased with where they're at, how they're playing, how they're playing together, and sometimes it's not good for us. I'm ready for it to go against somebody else, but they're going to be a lot of trouble to try to block this year.
Well, it looks like you've got enough personnel that you can sub in freely. It looks like your secondary, those kids look different. They really do.
Yeah, they're a lot different than what we've had there in a while. We've got some guys that can play man if we want to play man, where we might only have one or two that possibly could do that in the past. We got most everybody back there that can do it. And the biggest thing is what you brought up just a second ago is we've got a lot of depth, so we will be able to play some numbers and sub them in to keep them fresh. And that's trouble for an offense when you put somebody in and it doesn't go down. The productivity doesn't go down. That's hard on an offense.
Well, particularly defensive front, if you can roll bodies in there against a pretty stagnant group of offensive linemen, after a while, those freshmen start wearing them down a little bit.
Definitely do. That's the thing. If you can rotate and have, as you're rotating, the quality doesn't drop at all. And sometimes, especially in the NAI level, that's hard to do sometimes. But we were able to do that in 2018, my first year here. We had a really good defensive line. I'm not sure that this defensive line doesn't rank up there, or if not better than that group. We've got some really talented guys on the defensive front.
A name that comes to mind is Jones.
Josh Jones.
Josh Jones, banged up last year, didn't get to play much at all, I don't think.
He didn't play at all.
Didn't play at all?
Didn't end up not playing at all, and it's so good to have him back, and he's playing at another level. And competition should do that, and brought some guys in that have pushed him and made him just an unbelievable player. He's a perfect definition of size and speed. He's got size, but he's got the speed and quickness to go with it. You don't find much, especially at our level, you don't find that much at all. But we're real excited that he's playing.
Many times in a defensive scheme, you want the defensive linemen to take on blockers, free things up for the linebackers. But your bunch, they're capable of doing that, plus making plays themselves.
Right, it's kind of unique up there. We do have some guys that are, two gap players that kind of looks like the Great Wall of China. You're just not moving them or whatever. But like Josh could do that, and he could be explosive and just get around the block. But we got several guys like that, and it makes it obviously a whole lot tougher if you just got like one guy you can just combo in and everybody else you can block. But if you combo one of our guys, you're dealing with one-on-ones with some guys that can hurt you.
Saturday scrimmage, talk about how that will go, Tim. It won't be quite what we saw last Saturday, right?
No, we're not gonna just take the ball and move it like this will be more control as far as we're just trying to get in plays for conditioning and stuff. So first groups are going against each other 6 to 7 plays, and it's not about moving the ball down the field. We'll just move it up 5 yards every time. It's more about conditioning and getting reps with them. And then when we get some of the younger guys in there, we probably will we'll make it more of a scrimmage type and move the ball down the field. But this is just about polishing, conditioning, and getting ready for a first game next week.
Are there still some tough decisions for the coaching staff to make as you look at that too deep roster?
Not a lot, but there are, again, setting the quarterback is just, one of those three one of them needs to take it. And all three of them are capable. And it's not a bad thing. It's just one of them needs to just say, okay, this is mine. All three are doing well. At times, it's just about being consistent. Doing the right things, and that's what we're waiting for. Is one of them just to, all right, every day I'm doing everything right, so it's mine to take, and that just hasn't happened yet. They'll have, all of them have had 1 or 2 really good days, and they'll have a bad day, and then we just got to get that consistency to say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Do you see a situation where for the first couple of games you might play more than one quarterback?
Probably so. And part of that is just because of what they bring to the table too.
Different guys do different things.
Different guys do different things. One of them is a really, really, really good thrower. One's a dynamic runner of the ball, and then one kind of does both of those pretty good together, but they're not great at both of them. So it could be that you just play a couple just because of what they bring to the table. You put them two together. A lot of teams are doing that now anyway. If you bring the runner in, most people aren't hiding the fact that you're going to run the ball. But what's unique for us about that is you still got to defend our running back too. So you just can't. Okay, the running quarterback's in. We're just going to key on him. If you do that, our running back's going to hurt.
Well, and a running quarterback is sometimes tough for a defensive unit to account for.
Right, it definitely is. But it's easier if you don't have other weapons. If you got other weapons, it still makes it hard. It's that running quarterback doesn't mean you can't throw a lick either. You got to choose your poison, or you're just going to stack the box and just put Jarius Rogers and Isaiah O'Neal one-on-one out there with people. I don't advise that very much, and so we could get in good situations with that. So it is. It's obviously football coaching is a game of chess of how you go about it, but we feel really good about all the guys. It's just a matter of, okay, one of you just say, hey, this is mine.
You mentioned those receivers. To have somebody you can put kind of equal talent, equal threat on opposite sides of the football, that can really be tough to defend.
It really can. And we've got, honestly, our whole receiving corps from last year is back. We have the best freshman class of receivers we've ever had. We are really, really, really excited, and we feel loaded, and excited about the future of our receiving corps. Jarius Rogers is really good. He was second team all-conference as a freshman. Isaiah O'Neal played really well last year. Caden Hatchett, our slot guy, he's just a Swiss Army knife. He does everything right.
How difficult is it for a freshman to come in and play at the receiver position? Is it maybe a little easier there than some other places?
The hardest is O-line and D-line,
Yeah.
just because of physics. Mostly is what's involved in it. But a lot of times in skill positions, you either got speed or you're chasing it, and so it is easier, but it's still not. It's not the norm.
Right.
It's not. It's just it speaks to their talent level if they're able to do that as a freshman. And Jared's probably, if he was probably 3-4 inches taller, he probably would have never been at Cumberland in the first place. So played in a really good program at Bradley Central, and he's just, he was one of the shorter receivers there, but he was one of the better receivers.
When you look at the big picture, this good freshman class you have stacked on another good class the year before, you tell them on the front end, if you're good enough, you'll be on the field. If we think we need to redshirt you, that's not a bad thing. It's going to help them down the road. And you've tried to redshirt through the years a good number of kids.
You mean, in all honesty, you want to redshirt all the freshmen.
Yeah.
That's how you build programs. Is you want them there for 5 years, not 4 years. And the biggest thing with it is them not. Society now is a me now.
Yeah.
And so you just trust the team building that you do, and it is a good thing to. If we can redshirt guys, because like I said, the freshman class we have is offensively, the receivers probably the best we've ever had. Offensive line's unbelievable, the freshmen we have. We got really good freshman running backs, really good freshman quarterbacks, and really, really good freshman tight end that we brought in. And, those guys are going to be the backbones of our team for 3 or 4 years. If they'll just, buy into what we're doing, stay here, and just go with the process, we're going to have a really good team to come. And it's not just on offense. The same as we did really well. We got some really, really good defensive line freshmen. We got some really good linebackers, and we actually have a couple of defensive backs there that very well can play this year. They're in the 2D, 3D.
If you're in the 2 deep, odds are you're going to get on the field.
Right, and again, that's not easy to do, and so it speaks to how good they are athletically and stuff. But the future is really bright with it. We have brought in 15, 16 transfer guys, but again, we've had the best. I've said it the last 3 years. We've had the best freshman class we've ever had this year.
You've noticed these 2 headgear. Kids like nice shiny things.
Oh,
and you have, I think you've really hit a home run with these helmets. Now, folks, helmets are $400 and something each, but these shells that go over the traditional white Cumberland headgear don't cost anywhere near that, and you can spruce these helmets up for special events. Talk about this a little bit.
Yeah,
how you came to that idea.
The company's been out a while, but they kind of redid because I researched it a bunch, and it is the biggest, what you said at the beginning, they love the bells and whistles. These aren't going to win us a game.
Right.
None of this is going to win you a game, but it helps you, it wins recruiting, they love that stuff. And researching it, it's a company called Game Day Skins, and so they fit over, you take the face mask off, and they clamp on the helmet, and so you put it on. They're not going anywhere, and you get 14 to 15 uses, depending on what position and how much, they're
Well,
getting.
linemen are banging heads
Right.
every play, so you might not get that many for them, but still, if you get
But you're only going to use them once or twice a year.
yeah.
So you're going to get several years use out of it, but instead of $400, like we said, $400, $450, and they're only going up $65 a pop to get 100 headgears, because our travel, we're only traveling 60 to 70, so you got extras in there too. So this might last 6 or 7 years, but it's cool to come up with alternate headgear designs. And
How'd you decide on the flat black and the shiny? Is that cardinal? Is that
it's maroon, but it's
Maroon?
metallic maroon. We just picked it. I don't know. I love the matte more than any of them. probably, if I had to do over again, I'd probably rather have the maroon mat and the black metallic, but just because the metallic maroon is not the maroon color of our jersey, so
So you wear that with a white
you only
jersey.
can wear that with a white. The black ones we can wear with anything because it's going to look good. But you know, it's going to be cool to wear those on special occasions or whatever. And you know, this gives again we have 2 different jerseys, 3 different pair of pants, and now 3 different pair of helmets. So you got all these variations of uniforms you can wear. And again, kids love it. When I first showed them this, you talking about just a bunch of young adult males acting like 10-year-old kids at Christmas. I mean, they went nuts over it, and it is cool. It's something, you know. And this was help. We had a fundraiser that we had this summer, and some alumni helped us with it too. That, you know, we're fortunate that we were able to raise the money to do 2 of them. Because at first it was just going to be 1, but we raised enough money to do 2 of them. And
We've gone with the traditional Phoenix profile on the black headgear, but tell us about the cartoon Phoenix with the football tucked under his arm.
it started. I think baseball did it first. Baseball has one, a cartoon guy, and I think they've done it for all of them. Southeast Impressions here in town did theirs, and so basketball did it last year. Had one for basketball, and I love it. And you know, I think University of Louisville had a cartoon cardinal on their helmet, and the Bucky, the Ohio State Buckeye, they had one, an alternate one too, and I thought, you know, it'd really be cool to have a cartoon type thing on that alternate helmet. And so they made those. We've had them put on hats. We've got them put on sweatshirts for the guys this year. So it's just something different that, I mean, we'll probably be on, probably all our programs will probably end up getting this little, I can't remember what our Phoenix is called, Felix, the Phoenix or something like that. I don't remember his name, but they call it something like that. But I think it's pretty cool, and it's a cool little alternate thing to, you know, they spruce it up so basketball obviously has a basketball there. And we've got another one. We have 3 designs. That one's running. We have one that he's throwing the ball, and we have one that the center snapping the ball. And they were all designed from. So the running one was a picture from. We sent them live pictures of, or still shot pictures of our players from last year. So that's a player basically they turned into a cartoon character. The throwing one is Luke from last year. The snapping one is Brody Hall from last year. So it's a pretty cool when you know it. That's how they did it. So
I can imagine a night game, because you got a couple of night games this year.
we'll probably wear that one our first home game at night against Reinhardt, the black helmet.
That'll really look good.
Yes.
That'll really look good. Hey, thanks for the visit. Let me touch on this one more thing. Season tickets matter. You can get a season ticket package for Cumberland. Go to GoCumberlandAthletics.com. Scroll down. There's a button there for season tickets for football. It's the best deal going, and it's a great brand of football.
Yeah, and if you're coming to, just kind of throw this out, if you're coming to the Tennessee Tech game, they're having a whiteout. So they're going to be in all white. We're wearing our usual home jerseys, maroons. They asked us to do that, which I said is fine. So we got to make sure and turn that Tennessee Tech Stadium maroon. Even though it's going to be 12 o'clock, and we'll be sweating like.
Well, I thought about that. 12 noon kickoff on the turf. You guys have been out in the heat. The only way to get ready for it is to be in it.
Be in it, yes. It'll be challenging to play at that time on turf. That's not you know the ideal conditions or whatever, but you just go with it, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for the. I don't know if it's going to be fun to coach them. It's going to be fun for the kids, and you know we want more maroon there than there are white.
Tim, thanks for the visit as always. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Thank you. Go Phoenix.
Tim Mathis, head coach at Cumberland, with us. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Coach Webster from Watertown's coming right up. Woo! With us here at Coach's Night Out. Town Square Social is where we are, the only rooftop bar in Wilson County. Our sponsors, D.T. McCall and Sons, Cumberland University Athletics, THW Insurance Services LLC, Salas Realty Group, Shop Springs Creamery, Advantage Roofing Contractors LLC. Let's run down the schedule for this week. As this show is filmed and shown live on Wednesday night, the schedule is going to start on Thursday. Beach plays at Green Hill Thursday the 21st. The MyTV 30 game, that'll kick off about 7:07. Friday, August 22nd, Smith County at Watertown, Trousdale County at Friendship. That's a 7:30 kick at Friendship. Antioch at Mount Juliet. Cane Ridge at Wilson Central. Lebanon at Nolensville. Mount Juliet Christian at Joe Burns. Coach Gavin Webster, head coach at Watertown, with us. It is good to see you. I have not been there now that I have gotten out of the print journalism business. But how has the preseason gone for you guys?
It's gone well, Tom. We've made a lot of progress and got some answers to a few things. We're just trying to keep working, trying to get better every day.
You lost Hackett, your defensive coordinator. He went back home to Smith County. Who's running the defensive side of the ball for you now?
Coach Brad Dedman and Coach Cameron Jennings.
Well, I know Brad knows his way around the defensive side of the football. And to have a guy with that kind of experience on your staff able to step in, you might not have skipped the beat.
No, I mean, it's a home run. Having Coach Dedman, on our staff is great. I know when Mr. Brown come to me, I think this is his third year, I believe. He come to me. We had a math open and said something to me about it. I think it was Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. All right.
Hey, not only is he a really good coach, he's a great teacher.
Oh, a great teacher, hard worker.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he knows hard work doesn't bother him. He knows his stuff, and he was absolutely great.
Without giving away any secrets, will the defensive side of the ball look any different with Brad doing some things?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little bit different what people have seen, but the kids, the team that bought in to what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball, they've just done a great job so far.
You went to Carthage. You had the Jamboree last week against York Institute. How'd you feel like your guys played there?
I thought we played really well. We come out, got the opening kickoff, took it down and scored, which is always great. And you had a long drive. I can't remember how many plays, but it was a good drive for us. defensively they come out and ran a little bit. We kind of got settled down, got us on the edges there. We kind of got settled down and kept from scoring. Got the ball back, probably about inside our 10, and we didn't score on this drive, but what I liked about it, we were able to move it out from deep into our territory and get it back to midfield. So that's all we can plus. So even if you don't score, if you can have some sustaining drives and get a couple of first downs here and there, and try to get the ball back over on their side of the field. So I was real pleased with that.
And I'm not familiar with what you guys did over there. Did you have some non-varsity work you were able to get in, or was it just the varsity for one quarter? How'd you do that?
We first quarter was all varsity.
Okay.
And in the second quarter we JV and tried to get all the other freshmen in and tried to get all the people.
Well, that is so important.
Yeah,
because those are the guys that are eventually going to be playing under the lights on Friday.
Yeah, and they're out there working every day, and they get to feel like okay, you need to reward them a little bit. They're out there going against the varsity and drills and team stuff, so you want to reward those guys a little bit. And, they'll get some playing time. I know we kick off our JV freshman schedule Monday night.
Okay.
We're going to get Smith County. We'll go over there for that. So and they start getting a little work there. So
well, and it's I don't know how many you got dressed out, but JV freshmen together is pretty much the norm, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how we do it. We normally don't have our numbers on. We carry anywhere from mid-50s to mid-60s on a good year. Right now we're about 55 right now.
That's about right where you usually
This is one of the biggest freshman classes I've had. I think we're at my last count, I lose count because it's hard to keep up with.
Sure.
I think we had 22 freshmen, which is great. Normally we get about anywhere from 12 to 15, which I consider that good, especially to keep everybody. But to have about 22 freshmen on a 55-man roster.
Well, how important, Coach, is it to give those guys enough work and attention, to keep them hitched? Because you would love to have 20 of them by the time they got to be seniors.
That's the tough part. The freshman year is toughest for them because they come out there, you have to do the work and everything, and you want to reward them with games and as much as they can play, you want to give them that. And that's where you kind of lose them from that, in my experience, from that freshman to that sophomore year, or sometimes late that freshman year, if they're just you're not giving them enough work and they're just standing around. So we're trying to do better. We've got several coaches on staff, so we're trying to get better at getting them work and showing them what to do on the offensive side and defensive side. Now, there are some things we've got to do better, and we're working on that. Just trying to get better at it every day.
You mentioned some new folks on the staff. Talk about who's coaching what for you this year.
We got offensive side of the ball. Coach T.J. Hewitt's been with me for a long time now. Coach Cody Evans. We also have Connor Grundy, Monte Bates, Zach Wren, and all those guys play for me, which is great, bringing Purple Tigers back. More on the defensive side of the ball, got Coach Dedman, Coach Jennings, Coach Bates, and Coach Wren helped a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. Coach Michael Welch has been with us for a while, and then we got Coach Keith Powell. The new addition. He took over strength and conditioning for Coach Hackett. So he's coaching outside linebackers and running backs.
Well, I know what Watertown believes in the weight room, and for Powell to step in for Hackett, it has to be a guy you put some faith in.
Yeah, I mean, it was, when he came for an interview, I listened in on it. It was just what he presented, what he brought to the table was just really great. So, he's taking baby steps with him. Just not going in there and, just all gung-ho and everything, making sure everybody's technique is good and all that. Of course, he's working not just with the football program, he's working with all athletes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. He's working with all athletes. He's got all basketball, baseball and softball, as many of them get in.
And I guess lifts are different for the different
Yeah, and he
athletes.
does a good job designing those and really concentrating on technique because, technique is a whole lot of your strength. You get your technique down and knowing how to do things, then all that other just comes along.
Offensively, you've had some changes. You've got a young man step in there at quarterback who was the backup last year. Sounds like he's ready to go. His name escapes me.
Garrett Davis.
Garrett Davis.
Yeah, Garrett Davis, great young man. He's a junior. Played wide receiver for us last year, and we started working him this spring, and he just really took hold of the reins. And the sky's the limit for Garrett. He gets better every day. Still got a lot to work on, but he's getting better. He's a team leader, a team guy, and that's what it's all about. He's got the team's attention. He's got the attention of the huddle, and they respect him a whole lot. I mean, it's what he's brought to the table.
He's a decision maker once the ball is snapped. Your offense, there's some options out there for him to go with the football.
Yeah, there is. And we may not be as complicated as we have in the past, just because he's taking the reins. We're taking baby steps with him, but as he grows, then we can grow more. So he's really doing well.
Who's going to be running the football?
We have Will Burns.
Burns played last year.
We brought him in, I think it was Macon County. He was a guard for us. And we couldn't keep our running backs healthy, so we moved him over. And
He likes it.
He likes it. Also got Dale Boshier, senior.
Okay.
Didn't see any action last year. He's coming off a knee injury, so he's back doing well. And X Burns.
Okay.
And then we got those are the main four.
Receivers, have you got a group of those guys?
Well, I will say this: Landon Harper's in that mix also.
Okay.
Receivers, we have Jesse Bratcher. Got him. Senior.
That guy made some catches last year. Just out of his world. You get it in his neighborhood, and he's most often going to make the catch.
He was able to pull it in. He had some great play last year. We got Gunnar Tompkins.
Yep.
He'll be in the receiving corps. Dacio Carter. And new addition, Carmelo Davis.
Offensive line, have you settled on 5 guys?
Yeah, pretty much. We got one banged up right now, so we had to move some people around. So, offensive line starting Friday night should be Chase Lamberson, Bentley Roberts, Wesley Hamlet, Clayton Durant, and Noah Upton. That should be your 5 starters.
What do you know about Smith County as they come in from season 8?
Everybody knows they're going to be a well-coached football team. Coach Dyer does a great job. They're going to be able to spread you out 2-1 or 3-1. They do like some tight end wing sets, so they're going to give us a little of both. So we got a good quarterback, Mark Kidd, very good quarterback, got a good little running back. So it's going to be a good football game.
Smith County had gone through a stretch where their numbers weren't great for a while. Or have they got some more participation going
it
now?
looks like they do. I don't know exactly what his numbers are, but just looking at them the other night, they look like they had more than they did last year.
Well, and playing Smith County, close football game, long-time rival. I mean, Watertown has hooked up with Smith County through the years. I know you've gone to their jamboree every year. Ought to be a good crowd there on opening night.
Oh yeah, if we haven't played them in regular season, we've either scrimmaged them. We did that a long time ago when Coach Robinson, when I first got on, Coach Robinson was the head coach. Coach Maynard was there.
Yeah.
We was always scrimmaging Smith County, so we was able to start getting them back on the schedule when we could. And like I said, we have them. We go against them in a scrimmage, and I think the communities being relatively close like they are, 30 minutes apart, it should be a good crowd. Weather's going to be good Friday night, looks like, so we should have a good crowd by the time we got the
How does your region stack up? Who's going to be a couple of teams that you really got to point at?
Well, obviously, Sequatchie County won the region last year. Got a lot of returning young men. Running back return. back returning. Very well-coached football team. Giles County, it's another one. They wound up second last year, but they're always, Giles is always just a perennial, power in classification. So those two, we got two new additions with Forest and Cascade. Of course, they've been on our schedule last 2 years.
I recall playing
Yeah,
those guys.
so they're in the past. Those two games have always been hard-fought football games. And, Forest has beat us some, we beat them some. Same way with Cascade. So don't know a whole lot about those two right now. Haven't seen much on them, but those should be good football games. And then the other one to round out would be community. So that stacks up our game.
You guys ready to go? I mean, preseason's over. It's Friday night.
Yeah, we're ready as we're going to be. Obviously, we always like to have a little more work, but it's here, it's on us, so it's time to strap them up on Friday night and see where we stack up.
Hey, thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Always good talking to you. Go check out the Purple Tigers when they open their home on Saturday at Robinson Stadium against longtime rival Smith County. For Tim Mathis, for Chuck Gentry, Coach Webster, I'm Tommy Bryan. This is Coach's Night Out, and I will talk to you later.